Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now December 31st of 2021, and as we head into the new year, a lot of fans are very much excited about the new episodes of the Book of Boba Fett, Mando Season 3, the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and let's also not forget about the Bad Batch and Star Wars Andor, which really is going to make up for 2022 of the Star Wars universe. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, I am on Twitter at Mike01 if you guys want to go ahead and give me a follow on there. I do post a couple of entertaining things from time to time and really make sure to interact with you guys further. So we're now in a very interesting phase of Star Wars, given that George, John, and Dave are all working together as a trio to really bringing Star Wars back to its roots, back to the vision of George Lucas, and to really utilize Star Wars in a very fantastic way. Now, we already know that shows like, of course, The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett are considered to be a part of the mandoverse, which is something that both Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are actively evolving and expanding, and we'll be revealing more shows that have to do with that at Star Wars Celebration, as well as new shows that are going to take place in brand new eras, or even in between some of the movies like the prequels and the originals and sequel trilogy movies. So, on top of all of this, we already know that Lucasfilm is trying their absolute best to really turn things around for the Star Wars universe for the better, in order to really kind of evolve Star Wars into something new. They're kind of looking at Marvel as this template, if you will, of how they were able to really bring out so many different projects on a successful level to really bring Marvel to such a state. And that's exactly what Lucasfilm wants to do with Star Wars. Basically, now the format is at the very end of each and every TV show, they're going to tease of what's to come next. So for example, at the very end of the Book of Boba Fett, we're going to be learning more about what's to come for The Mandalorian Season 3, a little tease about all of that and how it's going to involve some of the fan favorite characters as well. So we'll talk about that a little bit later, but what's really all the more intriguing is the fact that with Jon Favreau now beginning to work on new Star Wars shows that have yet to have been announced, both, of course, Disney and Lucasfilm as companies are getting ready to announce all of the new shows at Star Wars Celebration 2022 that takes place in May. Now, further is described that currently the Ahsoka Tano series is getting ready to begin filming. However, in a recent interview with a Lucasfilm spokesperson, she was eventually questioned about actress Gina Carano. She went on to state that the main reason as to why we had so many issues with one of the TV shows that was going to star Cara Dune as the main character was due to the fact of how Gina was not being supportive over our demands for her to stop posting what she was posting on social media. This was before we let her go from The Mandalorian Season 3 and from Star Wars in general. Now, she goes on to state that we had a very hard time with Gina that was creating issues with the Rangers series, and it was only creating more setbacks for us based on her behavior on social media sites like Twitter. For us, it was all about trying to make sure that Gina was not going to sabotage the show by making her the main role. We later had decided to make her into a more minor role in the series, which caused both Favreau and Filoni to move with some rewrites of the series. It was a complicated process, but we tried to make it work while keeping Gina on board of the series. In the end, we just never agreed with Carano having the ability to keep on posting what she was posting on Twitter when she kept telling her, and of course, when we kept telling her and warning her to stop doing that. So let me just stop right here for a second. Now, this kind of makes things a little bit more vivid and makes things, kind of give the fans a little bit more clarity on exactly the unfortunate events of what happened to Gina Carano. Now, in case you guys did not know, Gina was getting her very own Star Wars TV show. It was called Rangers of the New Republic. She was going to be the main character. Now we're learning that basically what happened was before she was fired, this is well before that she was fired, she was reduced to a more minor role in the series. Again, I think that this just goes to show you that they didn't just have a problem with Gina, they also had a problem with the character of Cara Dune, which Lucasfilm is going to talk more about that. But the thing about this is that when you look at John and Dave, they modeled Gina Carano's character so precisely after her look of herself as a person. So basically, Cara Dune as a character was based off of Gina Carano as a person. And that's exactly why I believe there is this great value to the character of why it matches Gina's persona. And I think that when you look at everything related to everything that goes on over at Lucasfilm, there's always creative differences, which is very unfortunate. It's always by Kathleen Kennedy for the most part. We have seen a lot of this happening with the Acolyte TV series. If you look at shows like The Book of Boba or Mando Season 3, Ahsoka, Kenobi, there was little to no creative differences that were happening behind the scenes, and there's a reason as to why. Kathleen Kennedy has little to no involvement on a creative scale on those Star Wars TV shows, which honestly a lot of fans are very thankful for. Moving on. Now, of course, one thing I can say is that Carano's firing was already pretty planned even before what she had posted on Twitter that created such a backlash for us and the fans. The Lucasfilm spokesperson goes on to say, "We just were not feeling her character anymore. The character needed to either be removed or recast, and we chose to remove the character well before her firing anyway. As to what John and Dave are doing now with Gina, I cannot confirm or deny. But also, because this character was really not getting popular, we thought it would be best to just erase her as a character. It was a very tough road for us to handle. This meant canceling all kinds of merchandise, or even causing FAVREAU and Filoni to do some rewrites for Season 3 of Mando, which is now filming, thankfully. We are always grateful for the fans and how they support what they create, and of course what they initiate the writers to develop, but Cara Dune and how she was set up as a character, we felt by the time Season 2 of Mando hit was very weak and lackluster for the series to support her anymore. I will never forget that Miss Kennedy once even warned FAVREAU that this character was not going to work as well as Gina Carano as an actress. Kennedy was never very supportive of her or the character in the first place, which is why I believe the firing was done so quick about, of course, of order to begin with all of this as well. As for Carano, both John and Dave are still in the talks with her. So, the thing about Gina Carano, having her character Cara Dune reduced from a major role in Rangers to a very minor role before she was even fired by Kathleen Kennedy, I think it just goes to show you that Lucasfilm as a company never liked Carano from the very beginning for obvious reasons, and we all know why. We obviously also know that this was really a part of what Gina Carano said on the Ben Shapiro interview, where she always felt like that she was being headhunted, right? Everybody was trying to find a reason to fire her. Everybody was egging her on. We've even seen people like Freddie Prinze Jr. on Twitter laughing about her firing and saying how funny it was. These are the types of people that are associated with Lucasfilm. I mean, these are the types of people that we have associated with that company, and it really makes you realize exactly, you know, how much work needs to be done to really kind of just refresh this company and to really build it from the ground up with better people that are more positive and respectful and kind. That's what needs to be done. You know, sure, I get it, you know, you want to have an open mind on certain things, but I feel that the way that she was fired and how she was fired and exactly how it was announced was terrible. And even some people over at Lucasfilm do agree with all of that. So, overall, I think that John and Dave are doing great things, the fact that they are still in the talks with Gina Carano. But what we learned from the Lucasfilm spokesperson is the fact that it wasn't just that she was fired, her role as Cara Dune was reduced on purpose before her firing. And it was because they had a lot of issues with the character of Cara Dune herself. So, it wasn't just all about Gina from what it seems, it was also about the character of Cara Dune. Take it for what it is, maybe that's a complete front by Lucasfilm, but overall guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know about all this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.